Шановні колеги, до слова запрошується.
Dear colleagues, now the floor is given to Ministry of Defense spokesman on ATO-related issues, Colonel Andriy Lysenko. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Now the information about events in the ATO area during the last 24 hours. In Lugansk area, the military actions were only in Popasnyansky region and only during second part of the day. And several positions came under enemy mortar fire, and the enemy launched 20 mines. And the shelling delivered by the enemy were short-term. And on the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Lugansk area, there were 11 enemy shellings, including 4 with the use of heavy weapons. Donetsk area. There, the escalation continues near Avdiivka. Yesterday, military actions in this part of front line lasted for 14 hours. The enemy started shelling from the early morning and continued throughout the day. And the occupants launched about 150 mines and several dozens of artillery and tank shells. And also enemy snipers are at the front line, and Ukrainian forces return fire. And yesterday the enemy was more active in from the eastern direction, Eastern Vata, and also there were shellings recorded from the southern direction, Spartak, and southern eastern direction, Mineralne. Also, it was tense in the left flank of Avdiivka industrial area. Near Kamenka, occupants delivered 2 shellings with the use of mortars and tanks at about 11 p.m. As the result of heavy shelling delivered by Russian occupation forces, electricity supply was cut off in the town, and gradually the temperature decreases in the heating system. And also there is problem with the mobile connection and access to internet. Representatives of state and local government continue to help people. Important facilities of infrastructure are connected to electric generators, and water supply is delivered according to the schedule. And the repair workers, they need that the shelling stopped in order to continue the repair of the Donetsk filtration station. Also, Svetlodarsk, Balji, Gorlivka perimeter, the Donetsk airport, military actions of average intensity continues, and the enemy uses heavy weapons, and traditionally the enemy is more active in the evening. Commanders of the enemy want to distract the attention of ATO staff to distract them from the main area of battle actions, that is Avdiivka industrial area. During the last 24 hours in the Donetsk area, there were 41 enemy shelling, including 21 with the use of heavy weapons. The enemy launched about 400 mines and shells of different caliber. The Mariupol area. As previously, the main military actions are in the east of Mariupol at the Pavlopil-Shirokina part of front line. And Russia supplies ammunition, and the enemy massively uses mortars and cannons. In Pavlopil, in the evening, there were heavy shelling delivered by the militants. They delivered shelling for half hour, and in Gnutov and Vadena and Shirokina, the situation was tense. And in this part of front line, militants are active both during the day and at night. Also, the enemy violated ceasefire in Krasnogorovka and Novotroitsk, actively used heavy weapons. During the last 24 hours in the Mariupol area, there were 40 enemy shelling, including 7 with the use of heavy weapons. And they launched at our positions more than 70 mines and 30 shells of different caliber. During the last 24 hours, in the result of the military actions, no Ukrainian servicemen killed, but 16 servicemen were wounded. SBU revealed the scheme of financing of LPR militant group, and the charity foundation that supports humanitarian projects headed by Vladimir Pashko Lysenko, Russian citizen, through the accounts of Russian non-commercial organization that is called Center of International Transactions, direct the money to the bank of LPR, and the founder of the fund is registered at the end of 2015 Moscow International Transaction Bank, and this money goes to LPR militia, about 820 million Russian rubles. They provide also money to Ministry of State Security of LPR. This is repressive body, and they provide about 100 million Russian rubles. And anti-Ukrainian propaganda, they allocate about 30 million of Russian rubles. The court released one more militant from criminal responsibility. This militant participated in an SBU program that is called They Wait For You Back Home. It was established that in 2016 he was among the militants of DPR and served at checkpoints in Gorlovka. He understood that actions of the militants are illegal. He rejected the idea of the militants and returned to peaceful life through SBU program. In Donetsk, near Topolina, the SBU officers found 7 grenades with fuses, 23 detonators moved 2, and 500 cartridges of different caliber. Khersonsky artillerymen of the armed forces of Ukraine had some training. Anti-tank artillery detachments first marched to the identified region. They prepared the battery for delivering fire, and they distracted the imaginary enemy. Also, they were trained different ways in firing the weapon. And in Vinnytsia, National Guardsmen are trained in artillery. They and the commanders of the squads and batteries, they improve their command skills. Canadian military instructors certified 7 Ukrainian sabers at the center of demining of the chief command of operative supply of the armed forces of Ukraine in Kamenets-Podilsk. They completed the third 2-week course of training for sabers instructors. If you have questions, please ask. If there are no, thank you and goodbye.